dear students. The title of this lecture is Building a Shelter. Students, would you please open your books on page 40, the last narrative paragraph. I found also that the island I was in was barren, and as I saw good reason to believe uninhabited except by wild beasts, of whom, however, I saw none. Yet I saw abundance of fowls, but knew not their kinds, neither, when I killed them, could I tell what was fit for food and what not. Crusoe here starts examining the island. He realizes that there are no human beings on this island. The island is not inhabited by human beings. It is also a barren, which means that it is a fruitless island. In other words, Crusoe does not see trees or fruits in this place, and he has seen abundance of birds, but he has no idea about them or about their kinds. Now, page 41, please. At my coming back, I shot at a great bird, which I saw sitting upon a tree on the side of a great wood. I believed it was the first gun that had been fired there since the creation of the world. I had no sooner fired, but from all the parts of the wood there arose an innumerable number of fowls of many sorts, making a confused screaming and crying everyone, according to his usual note, but not one of them of any kind that I knew. To see whether these birds fit for food or not, Crusoe tries to hunt one of them. He shoots at it, but the sound of his gun frightens a great number of birds. They fly away from their nests and even away from their trees. The sound of the gun here represents the voice of man that violates the peaceful life of these birds that represent nature or the natural world. The scene here also shows that in nature or in the natural world, the struggle is for survival. Crusoe, at the beginning, of course, Crusoe seems very afraid on this remote island, to the extent that he sleeps on a bushy tree. But when he gets a gun, he himself brings fear to nature or to the natural world represented here by these birds. Also, the two sounds here, the sound of Crusoe's gun and the screaming of the birds, show the struggle between civilization and nature. The sound of nature, represented by the crying or the screaming of birds, clashes with or struggles with the sound of civilization, represented by Crusoe's gun. Ultimately, the two sounds are unfamiliar. The natural world of the island, which is not disturbed by anyone or any intervention, clashes now with a human being, with Crusoe, who is in contrary departed from his social world. Page 44, the fourth narrative paragraph. I soon found the place I was in was not for my settlement, particularly because it was upon a low marshy ground near the sea, and I believed would not be wholesome, and more particularly because there was no fresh water near it, so I resolved to find a more healthy and more convenient spot of ground. Crusoe here starts seeking a convenient place to live in or to settle. This shows that he is seriously thinking of building his habitation. I consulted several things in my situation, which I found would be proper for me. First, health and fresh water, I just now mentioned. Secondly, shelter from the heat of the sun. Thirdly, security from ravenous creatures, whether man or beast. Fourthly, a view to the sea that if God sent any ship in sight, I might not lose any advantage. for my deliverance, of which I was not willing to banish all my expectation yet. Here, Crusoe shows that he needs to build a strong, secure shelter. Therefore, he thinks of several points that should be found in this place, in the place of building his shelter. First, the place should be healthy, near the fresh water. Second, it should protect him from the heat of the sun. Third, it should protect him from the danger of savages or wild animals. Finally, it should have a good view to the sea that enables him to see any ship that might come close to the island to give it a signal to save him. Into this fence or fortress with infinite labor I carried all my riches, all my provisions, ammunition, and stores, of which you have the account above, and I made a large tent which to preserve me from the rains that in one part of the year are very violent there. Students, you can find this quotation in page 45. Crusoe has succeeded to build his shelter on the top of a hill, and he starts carrying his provisions into this shelter, which is called by him fortress.